Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923, AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender, American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC, DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage, Lo-Fi Direct, Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent, License Lender, Broker Number ML 338923, Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number MC 338923, Rhode Island License Lender, License Number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
It's me, Victoria Lang. We're here today because honestly, I need something to distract me from my life. So I just wanted to get on here and talk about, I don't want to say dumb shit because a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is not dumb. But yeah, we'll just say that for now. The first thing I really wanted to get into, I'm sure if you're watching this, you read the title, and everybody is talking about the show Euphoria right now, and I'm a couple weeks behind because it just ended 2 weeks ago, but I guess I kind of wanted to wait to talk about it because I didn't want to spoil anything because people get real up in arms about that. So at this point, if you haven't seen it, it's on you if I spoil anything. So yeah, but basically I kind of just wanted to talk about is it not even so much helpful or harmful, but what are the effects of shows like this? And not just Euphoria, but I feel like this show kind of goes and cuts deeper than most shows that deal with this kind of subject matter. So I do think that it's helpful because it helps people relate, or do you think it's harmful and it inspires people, particularly high schoolers and kids, to do fucked up shit?
I think that people are scared of things that they don't know, and I think people really view the world through their own myopic lens, and so I think anything that sheds light on other people's life experiences and struggles, I feel like that is productive. Everybody's life isn't whatever yours is, and however good yours might be, theirs probably isn't. And to see that shouldn't make you uncomfortable. To see the kind of things that a transgender person goes through, or the stresses and trials and tribulations of a high school athlete, there's a lot going on with these people. That movie Bo Burnham did a couple of years ago about the 8th graders or whatever it was. Again, I think when you're just giving people a chance to understand the world from someone else's perspective, I don't see how that would be harmful.
It
might not be comfortable.
It depends on how they're portraying it, right? And I'm not
realistically
portraying it. Realistically, that's great, right? But here's what I'm saying. And it might not, and it might correlate and it might not. Okay, so bear with me, please. For a decade, right? Living in the ghetto was glorified. You heard how awesome it was on every song. You heard how cool it was in every movie. And it had an effect, right? Why would people strive to get out of something that's that cool, that's glorified? So what I'm saying is I haven't seen the show. So I'm not going to say it's good or bad or right or wrong. What I'm saying is the way it's portrayed, it can be harmful. All right. It could be harmful. If it's portrayed from a single lens, this is my point of view, this is what I go through every day, or this is what we go through every day, that's fine. All right. And I could understand that and I would agree with that. But if it's being used as a stick, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is what I go through every day. So you need to give me, I deserve, you owe me. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's not, I couldn't agree with
again,
that.
I don't think this show's about like anybody's owed anything. Again, it's just the idea that you could see what it's like for a transgender kid in high school and what that experience is like. And again, I think it can be graphic at times. I think it's unpleasant, but I think at the end of the day, I don't know.
So
I think it's good.
So honestly, I kind of disagree with both of you. To be completely honest, I disagree with you, Joe, because I don't think the people who live like normal, stable lives are the people that really get affected by like this kind of show. It's the people that actually like are like living through that, and like the show deals with so much more than just like the one character that's like transgender, and that's like not even like the character arc of that character like whatsoever. Like it's talked about like once, and then like it's done for the rest of the 2 seasons that person is transgender. Like it has like no effect on the show. What like the real, I guess, things that are like disturbing is like in the 2nd season there was like a full scene where like there was the character Maddie, and she was like basically trapped in her room with her ex-boyfriend, and he put a gun to her head or whatever and was like, I'm gonna shoot it if you don't give me this and that. And like that was like so triggering to watch. I don't want to say because like I've been in like that situation, but like having been in similar situations, or like even if you haven't, just like be like that was like, and I don't want to say it's gonna like inspire like kids to go put a gun to like girlfriends' heads, but like, I also kind of have an issue with like the way high schoolers are like depicted in the show, like the outfits and like the sexualization of like, I know that the actors playing them are not actually 16, 17, but that's like the age that they're portraying. And me just like having a sister who is 16, and like that's what the show is portraying, I've definitely seen a shift in how people who, when I was 16, how we acted and how they act. And obviously I think it has a lot more to do with Euphoria, but like, or a lot more to do with than just Euphoria. But I think that definitely has like a huge impact on it, because like I was at her 16th birthday party, and all of them had like dresses on that were like inspired by like characters from the show, and like it was literally like stepping
Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? I'm going to ask you a question. As I brought this up in front of some students earlier today, I thought I asked a really solid question, and I'm glad that we're talking about this, because I'd like to pose the question to you, because this applies to you in many ways. I'm not a big Instagram user, but I'm hip and cool, so of course I'm on the Insta. Every time I go on there and there's a picture of the gram, whatever you want to call it, IG. Here's what I always see, right? And this is sometimes you. It's a picture like this, being all sexy, and then usually the next photo, you've gone right immediately to the butt. I don't. Who told women that's what? Like, why do you guys do that? Again, it's like you're sexualizing yourself. I don't like Instagram because I feel like half of my feed is just like girls' butts. Girls who just instantly were like, "Oh, a camera. Here's my butt."
Well, like,
why? What is that?
Honest, you go on like any like young guy who is like my age, and like they're standing there with their shirt off. And like,
Well,
to be completely
but it's,
honest,
you guys got to set your own standard. I don't. I
Hold
don't
on.
think
You know
that
what? I
will-
think this might raise a bigger question here, right? I really do. Because this country in general is a bit prudish. Don't you think? When you have the entire other everybody else in the freaking world except for America, they show boobies on TV, they show butts on TV, and they don't make it like this such a taboo thing. Do you understand? Like,
I
it's
agree
not
with that.
taboo.
The issue that I have is like when you make it normalized that like children look like that's a 16-year-old is supposed to look like a 25-year-old. And granted, I am happy that they're not having literal 16-year-olds play these parts and wear these clothes and whatever. But the point is, like, why are you showing somebody who's supposed to be 16 basically walking through a school in a bikini top? Like that.
I
100%
agree with you, because I've always said that Snooki was a terrible influence on this country. Right? I've said that from day one, and so I understand what you're saying, and my head is clearing. My head is clearing.
And it's not Michael's situation because he's the one that ended up in jail, not her, but it's Snooki because she's a woman.
No, because she was an idiot.
Well, like all of them acted the same way. They were all on the same show and did the same things. But
okay, I'll tell you why. Here's the friggin' truth. All right. When I was stationed in California, my friend Turd Ferguson, I call him that. He knows who he is, right? He nicknamed me Snooki, and it freaking stuck.
So you got a vendetta against Snooki?
Yes, I do. I really do. So you're 100% right. Mike, the situation and all those other friggin'
The only reason that I said that is
scene.
because a lot of people say that. They're like, oh my God, Snooki is the issue. But it's like literally like
No.
3 out of 4 of those guys who are on that show have literally been to jail.
Yeah,
and
no,
Snooki's
they're
the one
all
that's like,
that
they're
show
all
and the
idiots.
whole concept of that show is when America took a hard turn towards like absolute idiocy.
I agree wholeheartedly. 100%.
Yeah,
And
that was the beginning of the end.
We're
I wanna go
normalizing being a freaking drunk idiot. We're sensationalizing being a drunk idiot. We're telling people, hey, you can be a drunk freaking moron and be rich and famous. Go right ahead. Try it out. That's exactly what's going on. It's the same thing that's going on right now with TikTok, right? You can be rich and famous by being an idiot for 35 seconds on a TikTok video. So no, it's everybody doing. They're going to go out and be freaking idiots for 35 seconds. I don't know, 8 out of freaking 10 hours a day, I guess, that they're awake. And they're going to try to get rich and famous. And they're not doing anything whatsoever constructive for anybody.
Well, they're providing content so people can waste the days of their lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
it's
Speaking
working
it
out
real.
well.
Yes. My nickname was Snooki.
And to be completely fair, that is what we're doing right now. So,
Victoria, there was a TV show on like a dozen years or so ago to very popular acclaim. It was called Friday Night Lights. It was based off of a book. And my wife was like, hey, I think you're going to like this. It's like a drama. It's about football. It's a bunch of high school kids. And I'm like, that sounds dumb, but all right, I'll give it a shot. Let me tell you what they got wrong on Friday Night Lights. High school, football, and reality in general. The sophomore quarterback was having sex with his grandmother's 25-year-old nurse. Last time I checked, that's statutory rape. Then the senior fullback on the team, who was 17 years old, was having sex with the single mom next door. And they really romanticized those relationships like something fierce. And I thought, again, that's illegal. If some single mom, 22, 23, is having sex with a senior in high school, that would be on the front page of the paper, not in the high society section.
And this is
you know what I mean?
Is that like, I'm not saying that it's going to go inspire everybody to go do it, but like when you normalize it like that, and then you like watch it on a movie, or like if you're a kid, say you watch that movie for the first time when you were 15 years old, and then get a crush on a 25-year-old or your 25-year-old teacher or whoever, and think that it's normal, then like you are going to think that it's normal because that's all that you've seen like represented. And I feel like even like nowadays, I was just having a conversation with my sister about this, and I lived through it too, because I lived through like like I was around for all this. I was in high school and all of this has been a thing for so long. But like there's so many kids that will go on like dating apps and stuff and lie about their age and be talking to like grown ass adults on these dating apps. And like, granted, some of the adults don't know how old they actually are because they're like lying about their age. But when you're a kid, you don't understand how damaging that actually is, and how
dangerous that is.
How dangerous it is. Exactly. You're just like, oh my God, I'm so cool right now. And it's like so not right. And like the amount of times that like I've seen that happen is insane. And like it is so normalized, like nowadays. It is so normalized. Even like the concept of like having like an OnlyFans and stuff. I think we've talked about this on the show, but it's like, I don't want to shame anybody, but people that are like, as soon as I graduate or as soon as I turn 18, this is what I'm going to do. It's just so dangerous. Like it is really so dangerous. And
You
I
realize
feel
that sex work is the oldest profession in humanity?
yes, but that doesn't change my mind about it. And that's something else that is
Oh,
portrayed
I'm not
in
trying
this
to change
show.
your mind about it, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to justify it, but
I think
like,
sex work should be legal, but not for 18-year-olds.
say that again.
I think sex work, like prostitution, should be legal. We can have that conversation on another day if you want, but just not for 18-year-olds. Your brain is not fully developed at 18, and I don't think that you can make those decisions at 18. I don't even
Okay,
think that I
can I
should have
ask
been
you a
allowed to
question?
get a tattoo when I was
Oh
18.
boy, I think you're walking into a trap here, James, isn't she? What do you got? Are you going to bring up transgender kids
You
at
know
like
what?
9?
Nope, I'm not going to talk about it. Let's go back to the original topic here. Let's do
And
that.
I don't think that that kids should be transitioning at that young of an age either. I don't. I don't. I think that your brain's just not developed, and I don't think that like you should necessarily wait until you turn 25 and your brain is developed. But I do think that there are enough cases in this country where children have started to transition and then detransition, where it probably shouldn't be a thing until you're old enough to get a tattoo consensually. You probably shouldn't be able to transition genders, and that's just how I feel. Until you can lay in a tanning bed legally, you probably shouldn't be able to switch genders, and that's just how I feel, especially because of the health risks and everything, whatever. But that's
ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. There is literally ice in hell right now because I 100% agree with everything Victoria just said. Bravo.
And if you're gonna
Victoria.
transitioning with with that being said, if your kid who is 9 years old says, hey, I want to wear a dress, and you say, fuck you, no, you're a boy, that is also a completely different story. I'm just saying I would never take my kids to go get hormones or any kind of surgery or anything permanent. You know what I'm saying.
You need to let them express themselves, and that's how they learn. Every boy, every man, and if you can't admit it, then you're not a real man. Every man has played with a doll, hands down. It could be a He-Man. It could be a He-Man action figure. It could have been a Transformer. It could have been, a Yogi Bear stuffed animal. I mean, I will go way back. I mean, how far do you want me to go back here? Right? But it was still a freaking doll.
Can I read this comment? I saw E.T. as a child and had a crush on
I saw
E.T.
that, dude. I saw that and I laughed. But you were saying something real. Like, and I didn't want to be like, on the freaking camera. So I was like this because, I saw that. But, that was funny. But, no, I agree 1,000%, 100%. And that's what I wanted to ask you. But I was going to leave it, right? I was going to ask you, how do you feel about children and transitioning and stuff like that?
I guess here's my question for you. Are you asking if the show Euphoria is helpful to the people watching it or the people it's portraying? Maybe that's the better question.
Well, like it's not based on real people. It's not like based on like real characters. Or maybe it is.
But it's based on what could be real characters. It's supposed to
Yeah.
represent a viewpoint and a lifestyle.
So can I hold on a second? Here.
Right, my
So
understanding
these
is
people,
each of the characters is a very distinct story, and again, whether that's major part of the storyline, that's the experience that they're having as that person.
Can I ask who plays this transgender person
I don't
on the
know.
show? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
But that is
Is it
like honestly such like not a major part of the show at all. They like literally
I understand
really
that.
talk about it. It's just the fact that like that person who is an actor playing it is transgender. Like, you know.
So the actual actor is transgender?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
What another thing that I feel like I don't want to say like I take issue with, because honestly, like if it helps certain people, it helps certain people, or if it helps you relate, whatever. But it does, and like this is also coming from a perspective of somebody when I was in high school, I could have like been one of these characters. And like I'm saying that like I know that I said that like my like looking around at like other people in my high school, like to be completely honest with you, there was a very select few who like acted the way that like I acted. Like me and like my friends got into like a lot of stuff that a lot of other people around me and like a lot of my other friends like didn't until like later. And like I did, like basically all I'm saying is I basically got that stage, like the woohoo, yeah. I got that stage of my life done far before I'm even 21. You know what I mean? Like I lived that when I was like 14 to like 18. Like I did some fucked up shit when I was in high school. Okay. So like going
Is your
back.
mom watching?
What? Oh, she knows all this. She lived through it as well. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you were just born recently, or do you? I mean, and I guess for your whole generation, do you not think that anybody did crazy stuff before you guys came along?
Normal, Joe. Like it wasn't like I'm just like trying to have fun right now. Like it was like literally like I was so depressed and I didn't care what happened to me. So I would take 25 Benadryls before school and then force myself to stay awake and literally be like tripping balls at 15 years old around my high school 3 days a week. And everybody would be asking me like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, and like at one point I literally had like an enlarged spleen because of it. And everybody was like, oh, it's because I'm stressed out, but it was really because I was taking like 25 Benadryls a day. And like, yeah.
Well, that's not normalized behavior.
But that's
what she was saying.
Exactly. Like, so I'm just saying, or like, honestly, I'm just going to be honest. Like, Xanax,
listen, they don't make shows about the kids that don't do drugs. And the kids that don't do the rapes. They don't make shows about those people.
The severity of it. And it like makes it like normalized. And like when you said that it glamorized that student and freaking 25-year-old or 23-year-old relationship,
that's right.
Like they glamorize this kind of drug use. There's like one scene where like they're like 16 and they go and take Molly.
The show's called Euphoria, which is like what you experience with a drug high.
I'm just saying,
dude, it's like watching the show Weeds on Showtime and being like, do they really need all the marijuana on this show?
Is that necessary? Kids, and weed is very different than Xanax, especially.
But that's the drugs you guys are doing, which is bizarre. I don't know why you guys just don't smoke weed and stick with that.
It is bizarre. So why are we keeping and putting it on TV so more kids keep doing it? Because Zendaya on Euphoria is doing it.
It's just why aren't they showing her ODing? That's what they should be doing. They should be showing people ODing.
The show is a reflection of what's happening. It's not predicting the future. It's telling the story of what's happening right now.
I agree.
So
100%.
It is helpful.
But if it is doing it in a productive way, you don't show it like glamorized. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do it in a productive way,
this is on HBO.
Actual harmful effects of it. Yes, it is. And there are some
ever watched anything on HBO ever?
Okay. Well, there are some scenes that you like kind of can see like the gravity of the situation. Like there's one where she's like got all these drugs and her mom takes them away from her and she's like pounding down like her sister's door and everybody's afraid of her, and they ended up like getting her to get in the car to go to the hospital, and then they tell her that they're going to drop her off at rehab, and then she jumps out of the car and starts like running through like the highway traffic and like almost like hit by a car or whatever. But I just even feel like that scene was almost meant to be like, oh my, it was just so much more like artsy and like glamorized than it like had to be. Like, why don't you actually show her getting hit by a car and having some kind of like recommendation to the situation that's going on? And
So
that's
I have
this happening. You don't have her just like running away looking beautiful and gorgeous, high on
that's right.
Xanax.
That's right. I actually have a great
Don't do this. That's
I
not
actually
how
have
you
a great
stop.
comparison. I have a great comparison for you here, Joe. Look at the show Intervention and how they portray drug addicts, how they portray the steps that they go through in the life that they live, right? That's an extremely different show than something like Euphoria.
Then a drama produced by HBO. HBO is entertainment.
I understand
if you hold on, if you watch the show Rome on HBO, it was sort of a Hollywood version of what actually happened in ancient Rome. This is a TV show. This is like the Melrose Place of 2022. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, Victoria, but he knows what I'm talking about.
It doesn't mean that it's helpful to the public then. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, you know what characters weren't on Melrose Place? Women who were prude, women who were career-oriented, women who didn't not want to sleep their way to the top. That's what the characters were. I didn't make that up. That's not my thing. That's Aaron Spelling, who cast his own daughter in that garbage.
I'm not saying you wrote the show. I'm just
this
saying
stuff. Listen, but listen, this stuff has been happening a really long time. Like, as long as there's been TV, there's been like, let's put the pretty girls on there. Once they got over the conservatism, once we started to loosen up a little bit, and it's just gotten progressively worse. As has society in general and what we find to be entertaining.
Well, I'm just saying.
What Joe just said is we should all be conservative, and I agree.
The show in general is basically supposed to be like a reflection. It is supposed to be like a reflection of society and of like the youth nowadays. And the way that it kind of started out and was portrayed was sort of meant to be like a positive thing, and like it was going to give representation to people that didn't usually have it. Like the cast is great, and the first season was it was very different than this one, but it still dealt with like the same like concepts and stuff, but it wasn't as like graphic and like disturbing. And I don't think it really had as much of an impact. All I'm saying is like if the whole like jive of the show is to like dismantle like this whole system and to show like how real and how like bad these things actually are, then do it in a real way. Don't do it in a way where it's like you can keep getting away with it and you're still like enrolled in high school and like you can just beat bop on walking through and everything's fine. Because in reality, if you really are like these characters, like things are not just going to be fine. And
there's
I feel like
consequences
that's be shown is that if you go out and you actually act like this, like it won't be fine. And I'm speaking as from a perspective of somebody who grew up not just like, and like you have to understand that like this is like so much deeper than like a TV show. Like Euphoria is literally like a cultural reset. It is literally like I don't even think you understand the gravity and like the effect that this show has had on like our youth. Like it is everywhere. All the clothes are inspired by it that are in the stores nowadays. Everything has literally changed because of the show. Like I'm not even kidding you. Like you think that it's an exaggeration, but I am not kidding. I'm not kidding. Like
I believe you, right? Like for
Hannah Montana, like this is the new like Lizzie McGuire. Like people aren't trying to dress like girls like that anymore. People are trying to dress like Maddie and Cassie from Euphoria. And the standard is very different, especially when you look at the ages that they're playing. Because when you look at some shows like Lizzie McGuire and Hannah Montana and whatever, that is also a reflection of youth in society. But in those days, I really acted like that back in that day too. I really had a lot of those conversations. I dressed that way, and that's just how it was. And now that this has come into play, this is just how it is. You know what I mean? And it is just crazy. And like there have been other shows like Glee dealt with like a lot of like, it dealt with like drug use, it dealt with like, you know, abuse in relationships, and it dealt with like really serious topics. But I even feel like it didn't always do the best job, because to be honest, Glee had like a lot of hangups, and like they thought that they were being like so woke when like they really weren't. But like they
you remember
did a better job of showing the reality and the gravity of like sexual assault situations, like drug use, like divorce, like all that kind of stuff. I feel like they did a better job at portraying the reality of it, even though honestly it
what about
doesn't
Saved by the Bell, Joe?
a real
Yeah,
show.
there was also a comedy.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying.
That's
is
a
that I think
comedy. This is a drama. This is a drama
No.
on HBO.
But what
Dude,
does
there
that
was-
have to do with like the reality of the situations? Like they
It's
both
the way that
deal
they're
with, like,
telling
heavy
the story.
situations.
It's just the way they're portraying the story. I mean, again, I just feel like your generation like takes offense to everything.
It's not that I'm taking offense to it.
I don't think
I'm
it's a
just
taking
saying
offense to,
I
but
didn't
remember,
realize
you
how
remember
it's
Grand
damaging.
Theft Auto? Do you remember Grand Theft Auto and the studies that came out and the effect that had on kids, and how much more violent they
negligible.
be?
But
How
that's
much more
like a cartoon.
negligible?
You're really seeing
Negligible, my ass.
It had about as much effect on kids as wearing a mask did in COVID. Very little.
And
as
I just
we,
got a
as we
comment
come
saying,
to find out.
did you do drugs because of the show? And honestly, yes. When I was in high school and even younger, I started smoking cigarettes when I was 12 years old. My mom found a pack of cigarettes in my purse when I was 12 years old.
What
And it
show were
was-
you watching at 12 that made you think you should smoke cigarettes?
It was just like everything, like all the music videos, all the shows, like everything. I was just like, this is what I'm gonna do. And like I'm gonna be like less stressed out because of it, because that's like what everybody does. And like a lot of the things that I used to do when I was a kid, I probably wouldn't have done if I didn't see other people do it. And I'm not saying that like it's single-handedly other people's fault as to why I did it, because I clearly had issues, and there's clearly reasons why all kids don't do that, even though it's being portrayed. But I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a helpful thing.
I think a lot more people are going through the things that you think you're the only person that's going through. And I don't mean you specifically, Victoria. I mean just people in general. You know, I had a conversation with my daughter recently. My daughter struggles with depression and anxiety. And I was like, hey, I understand you get it really severe, but you know, we all have anxiety and depression, right? Like we're not all everyone else just walking around like butterflies and rainbows.
Doesn't make them just go, oh my God, that makes me feel so much better.
Oh, so you don't think I solved her issues with that one line? No, of course not, Victoria. What I'm saying is I understand that she's clinically and maybe chemically a little more imbalanced than I am. And so she struggles with it more than I do. But I just wanted her to know everybody has that. You might have it a little bit worse or way worse, and that's fine. But understand that we're all dealing with that. And it's hard for everybody.
Issue that I have too is that I am aware that I'm not the only person that deals with this kind of stuff. And that's why I know that if somebody like me is honestly, like, I don't want to say that I do get like affected by it. Like a lot of this stuff is hard to watch. Like it's hard to watch. Like there have been like a couple episodes where I've just been like, I literally like can't even watch this right now. Like I know I'm just gonna like be upset and like thinking about it, like go to bed thinking about it. Like I just
because it's hitting home to your own life experience.
I know, and that's why it could be damaging to other people like that. And I'm not saying that everybody in the world has to cater to people with issues. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that in reality, you're right. More people than not deal with this kind of stuff. So to the general public, are shows like this that glamorize drug use, sexually assaulting your girlfriend, and literally sexualizing children, is that helpful to the public? And I'm going to say
I think
no.
it raises awareness for what life is more or less like, and for probably a lot more people than we all think.
Well, I'm just saying life didn't have to be where kids were walking around in crop tops that only covered the nipples. That was not life until Euphoria.
Yeah, he brought it up. Saved by the Bell. There was the movie Clueless with Alicia Silverstone, who was Alicia Silverstone was 16 years old. 16 years old, and everybody wanted to bang her. And I knew it was wrong.
They wanted to bang her, but that was because they sexualized her. None of the outfits that she wore in that movie should have been deemed sexual in any way, shape, or form. But when you look at the Euphoria outfits, go back and look at the outfits, because I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you find anything inherently sexual about them, it's you that's the issue. It's not the costume designer. But when you look at the Euphoria, whatever, it's clear that the director is a creepy ass fucking man who's setting these people up to look a certain way. It's very, very clear.
But is it based on the way people look, or he just made up a look? He's just made up some costumes that are not anywhere.
People that are supposed to be high schoolers in those kind of clothes? When you like really look at it and see the boobs bouncing and everything that's really showing, there's this one character, her name is Cassie, and her boobs are huge. And it's like this huge thing online to be like, oh my God, I literally can't even watch this with my boyfriend because of her boobs are so huge, and her boobs this, that, and the third. And it's because every single outfit that she wears, they make sure they have them up to her fucking chin, and it's like a huge big thing. Like, you know what I mean?
What's the character's name?
Now, I realize we're talking about someone who's playing an underage girl, so that's where the problem therein lies. But again, typically women with large breasts do everything they can to accentuate that. Because that's
not true at all.
Oh, stop it.
Big boobs,
I've been on this planet for 46 years. I think I know what's going on.
You're seeing girls with little boobs who are trying to overcompensate. Girls with real big knocks, they do everything they can to, woo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm serious. Girls who really live with the boobies, they are trying to, every single part of their life, every single asset of their being is because of their boobs. So they're trying to, whatever. What you're seeing is girls with either small or normal size boobs overcompensating. So you've been fact checked. It's science. Look, it's science. It's just something that's reality.
All right. What else is going on here? What else do we got cooking? Let's talk about it. The next thing I wanted
to talk about is, and I hope we don't have any disagreements about this because it's just crazy, but the Nelk Boys had Donald Trump on his podcast. I don't know if you guys got to see it before it got removed. There's clips of it everywhere, and I think that it's been re-uploaded, but YouTube was just like, nah, fam, we're not going to do this. We're not going to have Donald Trump basically running his campaign on the Nelk Boys show, inciting World War III. We're not playing with it.
Look, we're at a point now where anybody who's a reasonable, rational person, including all but a handful of Republicans, understand that Joe Biden beat Donald Trump. And social media has been very clear in the spreading of misinformation, which is important in that if you're knowingly spreading something that you know to be false. Now, Donald Trump, after 68 court cases, has run out of, it's just not a viable argument to make anymore. If you make that argument on YouTube or Facebook, you're gonna get shut down. They've been, and you could be Donald Trump, or it could be us talking about it. If you bring that stuff up and you're trying to sell that, or if you're still doubting that COVID's real, your podcast is going to be removed. That's just where we're at. And I think that's a good thing. And I think it's a good thing for Republicans that we've moved on from that. That's a silly thing. No evidence of fraud. It's come from everybody within the administration except for Donald Trump. There was nothing they could do. Mike Pence and a whole bunch of constitutional scholar lawyers he's friends with determined that there was no way to overturn the election. It is what it is. So if you're still spreading misinformation about things, you should expect that there's going to be a punishment. As far as censorship, there isn't really any censorship. There's not. We've been given, like, again, like the Garden of Eden, like, just leave those apples alone. Like, I want one of those, but not that one. You can't have that one.
I'll agree with you 100% when all the freaking terrorists that want to bomb America, that want to kill Americans are off freaking Facebook and off YouTube and off freaking Twitter. When they're treated equally as the former president, whether you like him or not, right? When they're treated equally, when they spread just as much lies, propaganda, and bullshit, and I said just as many as Trump, insinuating that he does as well, but they're not banned. They're not kicked off.
ISIS does have a Twitter account. I'm going to be honest. ISIS has a Twitter account. Joe, literally, I'm going to be honest. ISIS has a Twitter account. Like, why does Twitter have a Twitter account?
When that bullshit happens, Joe. When that bullshit happens,
let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me hold on a second. Let me just fact check you guys for just a hot second. Facebook removed 7.7 million terrorist propaganda sites in the fourth quarter of 2021. In the fourth quarter of 2021.
Yeah, that's how many there are, but yet they're still allowed to have an account.
It's easy to start an account.
They're allowed to have an account. Period.
You can have an account until you start making threats. And when you make threats, that's when you get thrown off there. Imagine how embarrassing that must be for the former president to get kicked off a platform that the Ayatollah of Iran is responsible enough to adhere to the community standards. He doesn't threaten people on his official account because he's not a moron.
ISIS do we have a Twitter account though?
That's just dumb. Well, that's just dumb. I understand what you're saying. I do. I get it, but it's just dumb.
I will say there definitely does.
It's the argument about It's the argument about whether Kurt Schilling should be in the Hall of Fame because of his right-wing conservative views. Nothing to do with one another.
Is to kill every one of us, including all three of us.
What does that have to do with Twitter?
They're okay. Good job.
What does that have to do with Twitter?
Platform.
What does it have to do with Twitter?
That makes sense. Give them a platform.
Dude, what does it have to do with Twitter?
Because they're not violent people, right? They don't threaten
us. As long as they don't go on Twitter and say death to America, they're fine. When they do, they're going to get taken down just like anybody else would. That's how it works. And then just like anybody else, you're just going to start another account.
That's great. That's just awesome, man.
That's what happens when you have free accounts and you can just start one. You could open up 10 new Facebook accounts a day and just keep getting kicked off and go to the other account. I mean, they're taking down anything that doesn't go, anything that's offensive or threatening from anybody. If the Ayatollah were to say death to America on Twitter, he would be off Twitter tomorrow. I'm sure Twitter would like to get him off of there. It's not a good look for them.
You know what? Let me look. You know what? No, because that's not what this is about. I would look something up right now, but we're talking about I'll be honest with you. I have never even heard of the Nelk Boys, right? But my whole gripe with this is the same gripe I had with everything else. You can't allow certain things to have platforms and to be able to say certain. I mean, again, Joe. Their very existence is to destroy us. They spread so many lies, propaganda, and bullshit throughout the entire globe. It's pathetic.
But not on Twitter.
Oh, so that makes it okay.
No, James, Twitter doesn't get to decide who's on Twitter.
Yes, they do.
I don't like the way you live.
They're a private goddamn company. That's all I hear, right?
No, it is a private company. Correct.
There's no censorship because they're a private company.
They would have no rhyme or reason.
Them off. That's so Twitter, great standards on you. Great. You're freaking, and you want to talk about the oil companies being money hungry?
Get
the fuck out of
here. The Ayatollah doesn't spread misinformation on his official account, and he doesn't make threats to human life.
That's why he's everywhere else except on Twitter, so that's okay.
Right, because he's sensible enough to use Twitter right. I mean,
okay,
really,
Joe, I
dude.
just wanted to know. I just want to know that that's okay with you.
It is.
Okay, cool.
The second he violates the community
I want to know
standards,
what your line is.
he'll get tossed like everybody else.
Okay, so that's your line. Private companies can do what they want. That's your line.
You live by that.
Okay.
You literally live by that. You're against mandates. Businesses can do whatever they want. You've said that a million times.
Okay.
But not this time.
Hey, no.
Right.
Nope. No. I just want to know where your line is. That's all.
My line is if you're on Twitter and you spread misinformation or you threaten people or coerce them in some way, you'll be removed for violating the community standards. I don't care if you're Charles Manson or the Ayatollah or LeBron James. The rules apply the same to everybody.
Twitter, right? The rules apply because Twitter said these rules apply.
It's the community standards, yes, that all social media platforms basically adhere to, yes.
That each one of them came up with on their own. There is no set standard. The
government they're all
basically all the same people. Like
they're all basically the same. Yeah.
Is it government regulated or is it?
No, it's not government regulated.
Okay, so
it is because it's a form of communication, so it does fall under the jurisdiction of the FCC. So yes, it is federally regulated,
but not in those standards. They get to decide who gets kicked off and who gets to stay because they set the standards. They set the rules of who gets kicked and who gets kicked out or who gets to stay on.
Yeah, what does that change?
Right. Okay. People who make threats or spread information get tossed off. People who adhere to the rules don't.
So
Ayatollah's on, Trump is off.
Unless you're under, or if you're under 13, and if they find out that you're 11 with an account, then they'll remove it. But unless they have proof that you're 11, you can't do anything about it.
I'm just trying to figure out.
First of all, you changed the issue completely from should Trump still be on there spreading misinformation? You seem to want to say yes, but then you want to push the conversation to like some form of censorship. Let's talk about why he got booted and what he said and how untrue that is, James.
Let's talk about
reality and facts.
I have no idea. If you know what he said and tell me if I think it's bullshit, I'll be more than happy.
He said he won the election by a whole lot and it was rigged for Joe Biden. That's what he said on the podcast.
Okay.
That's why it got booted.
And then
you know what? I don't understand. This is what's crazy to me, right? I think, and I obviously don't agree with that, right? But I don't understand why the Democrats aren't going, just letting it run and just going, look at this fucking idiot.
Because too many people believe it.
Really?
Too many people believe it, and too many people want to believe it. And if you don't tell people,
too many people don't believe it.
Bro, if you don't tell people like my mom that's not true, and you tell her it enough times, my mom will believe it.
My mom be sending me Joe Rogan and being like,
my mom will believe it. Joe Rogan just said it's got to be true. Oh my God, no! What? How can we be here as a society?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Donald Trump lost the election. End of story. Everybody needs to get over it and grow up. Otherwise, it is a psychotic conspiracy theory. It led to either an insurrection or just some really serious political discourse. Okay? Either way, it wasn't a good look on January 6th, right? It was. We don't want any more of that.
Oh, no, God, no.
So let's cut the crap. Let's cut the crap with demonizing the Democrats and they stole the election and they're trying to transform America. I'm not saying you. I don't mean you, James. Okay. You don't speak for the whole entire right wing. I just mean it. This is the arguments I'm hearing lately. If you continue to dehumanize each of these sides, if every Republican's a racist Nazi and every liberal's like a mentally challenged snowflake, all you're doing is continuing to dehumanize people. And as I said at the start of the show about that stupid show Euphoria, again, I think people are afraid of things that they don't know and understand. And if all they're hearing is the mad stuff about it and it gets pounded into their head and you take away, you dehumanize it and you just assume every liberal's an idiot. Not for nothing, James. I read this article earlier today about the violence against Asian women. And I'm not bringing this up because you're Asian, but I know you love crime statistics, there's been a rash of incidents of violence by strangers to Asian women. Part of it has to do with Trump and the Kung flu, and a lot of these women during the attacks, whether they're being kicked on the train tracks or stabbed to death, they're being told to take your virus back to China. So, like, spreading misinformation literally does lead to violence on the ground. It's not Grand Theft Auto. It's people that are passing information along to people who want to believe it. That's why Pizzagate happened.
Or, like, to be completely honest with you, I know this is kind of like an extreme, but like when you put it on the other side, I feel like you would kind of understand it like a little bit more. But like say like the Nelk Boys had somebody on who said that they were like a victim of like police brutality or something like that, and had like a bunch of like people on the left like completely outraged and like attacking somebody or attacking like, you know, whatever, because of something that didn't really happen. Like that's exactly like what Trump is doing. Like Trump is literally like inciting riots and inciting like violence because of something that didn't really happen. You know what I mean?
Right. And listen, if Donald Trump was right and there was massive fraud and he had the evidence to prove it, I think we would all be outraged by the deception that was presented to us. I know I would be. As much as I don't like him and don't want him to be president, if he actually won and he could prove that, I mean, we'd have to do something about this. Okay?
Absolutely. I agree with that.
I'm certain 68 lawsuits in My Pillow Guy documentary later were no further along to that being even close to reality. So again, James, I understand too what you said before. Like, I mean, I would just run and be like, dude, listen to this idiot ramble on about that election that he lost. He would be making a fool of himself. I just think, and this is, again, why I feel like we're at such a weird crossroads in society. People want to believe the worst. People will read an article about, the liberals, they want to transform America, and they want us all living in cardboard boxes, driving electric cars, and everybody starts to believe it. And it's like, you believed it because it was a stupid idea. It sounds right up the Democrats' alley, doesn't it? It's easy to believe that stuff if you're already thinking like these people are such morons. And then they say things like defund the police, James, just to really give some credence to that idea. But it becomes easy to dehumanize these people and to treat them like they're not really Americans or they don't love America. It's not fair. And I don't like it, and I won't stand for it. And I wouldn't have it the other way either, James. You know I wouldn't. But I feel like the more we continue continue to disagree on basic, actual facts, the harder it's going to be for us to ever get it together.
Do you know I'm having such a hard time holding my tongue right now? Because I'm chomping here. I really am. I don't want to go off topic. I really, really don't, Joe.
But I feel like you're going to go off topic.
But you're sitting there telling me, right, that we can't dehumanize people. And we need to let people, express whatever, and stuff like that, right? And I agree with you, Joe. I've been saying that for every episode that I've been on the show. I am not the freaking person here that said it should be legal to hurt others because they carry whatever fucking flag they want. That's why I'm having a hard time holding my tongue, because you two said it should be freaking legal to shoot other people because they carry the freaking Confederate flag. But now, because it's something you agree with,
I never
it's
said
cool,
that.
And we need to fucking, and we need to freaking, and we need to respect everybody's shit. See, it doesn't work both freaking ways, and that's what pisses me off. That you want it to work both ways, except when it doesn't agree with you.
Right now,
and it's horseshit.
Don't even know what you're talking about. I said people that had the Confederate flag should be shot. Or did I say people who were invading our capital with that flag should be shot?
No.
Because that's a totally different thing.
It should be legal to hate crime somebody who flies a freaking Confederate flag.
And I stand by that.
No, I said if you want to use the N-word and someone punches you in the face for it, that's the end of the story. That's all I said.
If you want to carry around the Confederate flag and somebody
if somebody wants to take that flag and turn it sideways and shove it up your ass, well, then that's the punishment. To me,
it should be legal. right? It should be.
I didn't say anything about anything should be legal. I don't even know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking
Victoria
about. The only thing I said, even remotely close to that,
it, and she just doubled down on it. She said it, and she doubled down. And you're like, I fought with you.
You're welcome to throw her under the bus all you want. I didn't say anything as absurd as what you just stated. I said,
hold on,
and I would appreciate a retraction.
Do you remember this?
I don't. I never said anything like that.
Do you remember me going, "Yep, party of tolerance"? Yep. Party of tolerance.
The
Remember me
reason why
making
I
fun
don't
of you?
feel
And
that
you
it's
going,
don't
yes,
understand
we
what
are.
tolerance
Yes,
is.
we are.
You
But if
don't
carry
understand.
around a Nazi
You
symbol,
hold on.
blah, blah, blah,
You
blah.
wait. You seem to think that tolerance is allowing and withstanding and just allowing people to be racist and rude and bigoted. That's
You
not
just
tolerance,
said
James.
what-
That's being a
you
pussy,
just-
and I don't subscribe to that, my friend.
You
Sorry.
literally just said we should be
Sorry.
okay with it. You literally just said it should be okay. You literally just said it.
No,
and
I
now
Don't know
you're
what
going
you're
back.
talking about. You
It'd be
you can
okay.
repeat that phrase 50. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not what I said. It's not what I said.
Okay, if you're gonna let me get this out, then
Do it.
I'm gonna say something. But I think that it should be like literally. I will say it, and I will say it literally to the day I die. That I think it should be legal to go up and punch somebody in the face if they say the N-word to you, and if they're carrying around a fucking Confederate flag. And the reason that I think it should be legal to do that to those kind of people, and not to transgender, gay, or to any other type of group that's usually discriminated against. The
You have
reason
a hard
that
time making a solid
Okay, you
point
gotta
here,
listen to me.
Victoria.
the
Yeah.
reason that it's different is because by being black, gay, transgender, or anything like that, you're not affecting other people. But by screaming the N-word and carrying around a Confederate flag, you 1000% are. And that's what the difference is. And
You're
that's
a
why
provocateur and you get what you get, and I have zero problem with that. James, to me, James, to me, let me tell you something.
Anyway at all.
I find that no different, James, than if I walked up to you and I hurled some Asian slurs in your face and you punched me in my face for doing that, I would feel like you would be totally justified.
And who
no
would end up
different.
going to
You
jail?
should
Right.
go to jail
No,
for that.
but you,
because
but
got
but
hate
I don't
crime.
know if you guys have seen lately. That's not how it's working in court.
Yeah, nobody
these
goes
days.
to friggin' jail anymore.
People are getting away with that kind of stuff. But I'm saying, dude, just the same. If you walked up to me, James, and you rolled up on me and our noses touch, I promise you, before your head gets an inch away from mine, you're going to be eating a fist. Okay? I consider that provocation on
Kill
your
zone
part.
here. You went to the
Right,
kill
Right,
zone.
that's what I'm saying.
To me,
Like, if
you
you
started
don't
it. So,
see the
right, again,
problem-
I think, this just goes to what we're talking about is if you're out there, like, literally trying to provoke a reaction from somebody through hate or hate speech, again, dude,
if you were
it's hard
walking
to
around,
it's hard to justify that or defend it. I like free speech as much as the next guy, but if you're out there being a
well,
huge
hate speech
dick,
is not covered under the guise of
Right.
free speech. It's not.
correct.
So walking
Correct.
around with a
That's why
Confederate
we have
flag
these.
or calling somebody the N-word or calling
Give
somebody
me the definition of
F-word,
hate speech, please. And
I
tell me the
I
legal
literally am if you would listen to
and-
me for 5 seconds.
and tell me the legal precedent that it falls under.
Once again, if you're going to hate crime somebody because of their race, religion, sexual orientation, or gender, that is considered a hate crime. So carrying around a Confederate flag or calling somebody the N-word, or if you're dressed up as the KKK and somebody comes up and punches you in the face, you're completely justified.
Hold
I'm
on.
not saying that you're
Hold on.
necessarily protected.
I need
but
to stop you right there. Hold on. I need to stop you right there because there's a huge Grand Canyon size difference between somebody walking around in a KKK uniform, somebody saying the N-word, somebody, what was the other one you said? Doesn't matter, right?
Confederate flag.
Somebody carrying the Confederate flag.
Are
and
we
then
going
somebody,
with your spectrum thing again?
Hold on. No. And then somebody punching you in the face because there's a huge difference there.
But that's not. That has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
No, it
Joe
does. It
kind of
does,
took it
Victoria.
there
It does. It
with-
has a huge
okay.
difference.
No, it has
It-
nothing to do with. How are you going to say that it has something to do? It doesn't. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't. So basically, when Joe brought that up, like he's basically just saying, like, if somebody, he's not saying that it's the same thing. He's saying that it's the same thing that when somebody instigates it, you have every right to stand up for yourself. So regardless if it's somebody's coming at you and punching you in the face, or if somebody's coming at you screaming that you're the N-word N-word or saying some kind of hate speech to you, you have every right to defend yourself. And that's the thing, is that like you don't necessarily have every right, but that's what me and Joe are saying, is that you should. Like just the same as if somebody's
I'm
gonna
not.
be running up on you.
I'm trying to
If
make a
somebody's gonna
difference.
come up running up on you with their words, you should be able to fucking defend yourself. And that's just how I feel.
I am trying to discern. I am trying to draw the line. That's all I'm trying. I'm not fighting you guys here. All right. I'm trying to see where the line is between legal and illegal. That's all I'm asking. What is legal and what is illegal? Because you know what? Hold on. Let me finish this, please. I let you go on. I grew up in a time where sticks and stones, right? Sticks and stones will break my bones, right? But words will never hurt me. Do you remember that, Joe?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
I still live by it.
Do you remember what's that? You're still a fan?
I still live by that. Yeah. I don't really care what people think.
If you ever heard that, Victoria, I'm sure you have, right?
But that honestly has no gravity to me or my life, because
it does, though. It absolutely does.
It doesn't for me. No.
You know what? I can sit here and call you any name in the book I want, right? I can sit here and say anything I want. I can sit here and put a KK uniform on. I can have a Confederate flag hanging behind me. And guess what?
I'm so glad you don't.
Can't do a goddamn, hold on. You can't do a goddamn thing to me legally. Nothing. Zero, zilch.
Right.
If I come up and punch you in the face, you can have me arrested. There is a huge freaking difference, and I need to know where your line is.
So
is there no line? Is there no line? If you carry
I'm not saying somebody should be able to come to your house and hunt you down and kill you with a Confederate flag.
Hold on. I was very clear in what I said. I said, if you come at me and you're hurling some racial slur, or you're otherwise making me feel intimidated.
If you're a threatening person, if you feel threatened, you have every right to
you're sitting on your front porch and there's a Confederate flag in your window, I'm not going to run up on your porch and punch you in the mouth. Like you're minding your racist business. That's fine. Again, I'm saying
sorry. I'm saying if you didn't say that the last time we talked, I know Victoria did, and you agreed, and I thought you agreed with her. No, I'm pretty sure you did, but
I didn't. I definitely didn't. And I don't think that's even what she said. But you and I talked about this earlier today, James. Again, dude, if you want to be a racist person, like at your house, I don't care. Do whatever you want. You know, if you're like super transphobic and you're like, they're so gross. Great. Do that at home. But if you see him in public, just, you don't have to even look at him. Just don't make him feel threatened. And definitely don't start yelling stuff at him. And James, right, for the most part, like 99.997% of us totally do that. And we're talking about that fringe group of lunatics who take this stuff way too serious. And again, this is when it goes back to with the Asian women. It's like, you're gonna get revenge for COVID by attacking Asian women? What are you talking
Trump's
about?
fault for these idiots.
It's yes, dude, and it's awful. And again, I just feel like we need to start getting on the same page about what is doing that. What is facts? What is reality? What's really going on? Like we got to get on a similar page as to what reality is. All of us, or I'm telling you, it's going to be really hard to move forward as a country, right? Like now, everybody, for the most part, there's still a couple of cuckoos, but everybody believes in COVID. It took a really long time. We're almost at 70% vaccination rate in this country. How insane is that? Slowly but surely, a lot of the people that were like never going to get vaxxed are like, I'll do it. Because the more that they're not hearing the nonsense, the more they're like, oh, wait, everybody else has it? Alex Jones got it. Bill O'Reilly got it. Donald Trump got it. They said not to.
I really don't know.
Now all of a sudden, right, dude,
this bad information about the vaccine. I really don't. I never heard any. Don't take it. I've never heard any.
It's not that he said don't take it. We've talked about this, James. Donald Trump never said don't take it. He said don't make them make you take it. Don't let them force you to do it. And people took that the wrong way, James. So I hear many people like they're going to start bringing us in the camps and giving us shots. No one's going to do that. No.
Who was the ones that said they didn't believe in the vaccine? Who are the ones that said they would never take the vaccine? Who are the ones that said if Donald Trump came up with it, it can't be good? Who are the ones that said
those were Democrats on the campaign trail? Cut the shit, James. James, James,
And you don't think that had an effect? Hold on. No. You don't think that had an
yeah, you can hold on a second. Let me tell you something. Let's clear the air on one thing. Can we clear the air on one thing here? Okay. I mean, my God, dude, the way he just jumps topic to topic. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
Donald, there's a big difference between the Democrats on the campaign trail saying, like, I don't know if I would take Donald Trump's vaccine. Yeah, every one of them went and got it when it was available. It's a big difference between that and Donald Trump, who literally downplayed the virus and like an idiot did an autobiography, did a biography with, oh God, I can't even think of the dude's name. Literally let them write a book as in real time as he was deceiving the country. Those are, I mean, to even compare those is an insult to everybody's intelligence. Give me a break. What they said on the campaign trail and their actions in reality, come on, dude. How could you even make that comparison?
But it didn't
that
have
hurts
an effect.
my feelings.
That's what you're saying to me? You didn't have an effect?
No, because 95% of Democrats are fucking vaccinated. That's the answer. They listened to their people and they went and they got it. They were like, hey, we were wrong. His vaccine is good. Go get it. And they all went and did it. We're still looking at like 60% of Republicans. 40% are like, I don't know. Not sure yet. And yeah, and here we sit and wait.
I'm just saying, Republicans didn't build mistrust in the vaccine. None of them.
Yes. They did.
Ooh.
They most certainly did.
They
most certainly did. And again, dude, a couple months back, I mean, we've talked about this when Donald Trump and Bill O'Reilly kind of let slip that they were boosted and vaccinated. They got booed.
We came to an agreement on
they
this,
got
Joe.
booed in a rally by Republicans, James.
Well, even when
I thought we came
that.
That's on them, right? I'm talking. You're bashing Trump, right?
Because
And I'm
they
not
were
again. I
convinced
can't
that
believe
Trump
you're.
told them
This is what
something
pisses
different.
me off. You want to know what really pisses me off, Joe, about this? You freaking make me defend this asshole. That's what pisses me off more than anything.
You want
in
to
the
defend
world.
him.
I don't
like
want
to defend him.
I don't like to.
You do.
Don't.
You say you
I don't. But
you
what's
do.
right is right, Joe. What's right is right. I'll say that he was.
You're gonna take
wrong.
comments made on a
taking
campaign trail
anybody's
that don't
freaking
reflect
side,
their actions
right?
in reality. You're gonna hold that against them when
right?
95% of their constituents are vaccinated. That's a ridiculous argument to make.
Okay. You done? Because
Yes.
you get to mute me, right? So I'm just gonna walk away every time you do that.
The floor is all yours, big guy.
right.
Take it. But before you spread misinformation, I thought I would just clear the air on what actually happened and not the nonsense that you just made up. I think we owe the audience like honesty a little bit.
Okay, here's
here.
some freaking honesty. Who was the biggest seller of the vaccine?
I'm not sure who you're going with. I'm going to
Whose
say Dr.
vaccine
Fauci.
was it? Who freaking pumped it? Really? Because Fauci said it wouldn't be ready. Trump said it would. Trump said he was going to make it
Trump
ready.
isn't a
Trump was
scientist
the
and did nothing as
the
far as
huge-
it being
I understand
developed.
that. I do.
Yeah,
Granted,
all right.
I understand that. But Fauci even said, don't trust it. It's too fast, right? The
No,
exalted
I've
one.
never heard Fauci
Right?
ever
Okay,
never once questioned the vaccine when it was ready, ever.
Okay,
He
very
never did.
After it was ready? After
Yes.
it was ready?
Never.
Yes. But
Never saw
before
that.
then-
Never heard that.
But before then, you heard it. Don't deny
Never.
it. Really?
That he said what?
Did
It was
he not
too
say
rushed?
It's too
No,
rushed.
he was
It
giving
too
us a
fast.
time frame on how long it would probably take based on past experiences. That's what scientists do.
Okay.
They base their stuff on facts.
Granted. But it still freaking caused it caused rejecting feelings for it. It caused conflicting feelings over it. Now, distrusting feelings for it. You have this exalted, follow the fucking science, and everybody needs to believe what he says. And the timeline, he's giving timelines that too soon. He's saying, nope, it's too soon. The normal freaking position is this long. It should have taken this long.
I don't even know what argument you're making right now.
My
What
argument
is your
is
point?
this. My argument is this. You only shut down freaking people, and you only stop freaking people that you disagree with, and that's horseshit.
Yeah,
and that's what
I
the
do.
Democrats do.
Yeah.
Well, what am I
That's
supposed
my
to shut
argument.
down and
That's
disagree with
all-
people that I agree with? What does that
I
even
shut
mean?
down nonsense.
What does that
Nonsense.
even mean?
No, it's not nonsense. You're taking a belief that you disagree with and saying it's nonsense.
It's not a
Because of
belief,
what-
it's facts. Donald Trump lost the election. It's a fact. It's not an opinion I have.
I'm just going to be completely honest right now.
Why are you still talking about Donald Trump? I hate talking about this man.
Well, you're misquoting Dr. Phil.
Trump freaking
my show. You saw that starring Victoria Lang. You saw the beginning. We were all here. We all watched it. This is my show.
I'm going to mute myself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Victoria. I am.
I don't think we're going to come to agreement on this vaccine stuff. It's hard. I'm going to be completely honest. It's hard for some people. It is what it is. I think that's one of those things that, it's not even worth it at this point.
No, can I just tell you what a phony this guy is? This guy's going to call me in 10 minutes and we're going to be on the phone laughing about all this.
I know he is. I know.
People are like, dude, after every show, people are like, oh, dude, it's too bad you and James aren't going to be friends anymore. And I'm like, oh, no, don't worry about that.
I never get mad at you guys.
I knew I'd get you back on.
I never, ever get mad at you guys over your opinions. I never, ever get mad at you guys over your views. Right? Same. I never, ever get mad at you guys over your political policies that you back, because you know what? I want you to have them.
Thank you.
Whether I agree with them or not, I want you to have them. I genuinely do. And I appreciate that you do. When you guys make me mad is when you claim to be the most tolerant fucking people in the world, but want to freaking shut down everybody else because
Never
you
said
disagree
I was tolerant.
with
Not everybody else. Not everybody. Bullshitters get shut down. That's it.
I'm going to be very honest.
You know what? I got to tell you. I got to tell you this, man.
Do it.
That's what I mean.
Hurt me.
Do you honestly believe the freaking backwoods hellbilly from Alabama, right? Which used to be the Alabama state flag, right? On the state flag and on the Tennessee flag. It used to be on a lot of these flags, but it meant Southern pride to them. Do you honestly believe that? Hold on, let me finish. That backwoods hillbilly knows that Germany is using it as a symbol for Nazism?
Well, he's got a computer just like the rest of us do. In 2022, it's everybody's responsibility to educate themselves and to not be ignorant. I don't care where you live, what your education is, or whatever. We all have the same access.
So what you're saying to me,
internet
Victoria,
in this country, yes, that is what I'm saying.
Okay, no. What you're saying is that this hillbilly Alabama guy should now change his view because they appropriated it.
Absolutely.
Because Germany appropriated it. Okay,
his own people did. So I
got it.
On that note,
but it does. It carries the same weight here as it does in Germany.
I don't care what anybody thinks about my views on these kind of things. I've been dealing with a lot of shit in my personal life where a lot of people disagree with me on things that I know are 100% valid and are 100% true. And a lot of them are based in social issue things. And a lot of the issues are based because I'm a woman. And I have people sitting here telling me right now that I'm wrong when I 100% know that I am right. I am right. So I don't care what anybody has to say to me about any of these issues or any argument that anybody has to pose, because through my own learned experience, and you can say the same thing, I know that I am right. So on that note, I would like to end this episode of Losers Pay Double. Love you all. I'm pissed at you, sketchy peasant, that you didn't watch this. So if you're watching this later on, I hope you see this. Thank you very much. I'm done. Good night.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.